I remember exactly where I was standing in my parents' kitchen when my mom told me that Frank Desiata had called about naming the Upton Road ball fields after Greg. She barely got the words out, and we both stood there and cried at the thought that his favorite childhood field would be forever known as Greg's Field.
No.
We are truly humbled by this incredible honor to remember Greg's legacy. Though his life was cut far too short, my brother exemplified what it means to live every single day to the fullest by pitching a perfect game of life. We are forever grateful that his legacy will live on in the hearts of all the ball players who take these fields in the hours and years to come. I wish Greg were here to see this firsthand. He always thought of himself as just an average Joe, so he'd be wondering what all the fuss is about, but he would be immensely proud. We were blown away by the $13,000 raised, a grand slam far exceeding the committee's fundraising goal. We are thankful to our family and friends, as well as the entire Westborough community, for your unwavering support over the last 13 years. The entire town embraced Greg's career with the Boston Red Sox and the Worcester Tornadoes, with many people traveling to Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey, and Florida to see him pitch. We are truly grateful for the outpouring of support for our family during his illness and passing. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And if I could ask you guys to do something for me right now, would you mind standing up, all the players, and turn around?
Oh.
This is Westborough Little League, and these players tribute to Greg. If you can't see it, it says Montalbano, and it has Greg's number on it, 22. Guys, that really means a lot. Thank you very, very, very much. You can remember forever that you're the last team to ever play on the Upton Road fields, and you're going to be the first players to ever play on Greg's Field. So you can remember that forever. You'll be the first guys to ever play on Greg's Field. That's a real honor. As Father Foley said, 20 years ago, Greg Montalbano got his start as a baseball player on this very field. He pitched on that pitcher's mound, and he got his first hits from that batter's box right up there. Some of his Village Lumber teammates are even here today. I know I saw Steve Connie out there. I saw Chris Mata, Pat Fallon, Matt Story from our commission. I know there were a few others that were going to try to make it, Mike Conn, Jim Igo, and Chris Hopkins. I don't know if they were able to, but I appreciate very much their coming down today. That's a great tribute to Greg and a great honor to have you guys here. I am also truly honored to be able to say that I was one of Greg's coaches when he played for Village Lumber, along with his dad, Andy, and a friend of ours, Bunky McDowell. So that's something that I'm going to remember forever. At this time, too, I'd like Dylan Connors of the Westborough Country Club team to come up and read a page from a report that Greg wrote back 22 years ago, which is kind of ironic, in 1988 when he was a 6th grader. The full report, I'm told, got him an A+. This is just one page from that. Dylan, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Portrait. This is a story about things that I like to do and the people I like. It includes my bike, my career, my family, and the sports I like to play. I hope that you will enjoy reading this. The most important people in my life are my family. They're always there when I need them. Just think of if my parents weren't here. I wouldn't be here. Sometimes we agree, but then again, sometimes we don't. I really enjoy being with my family. My parents say I have a great athletic ability. My favorite position to play in baseball is pitcher. I also like playing wide receiver in football. I'm one of the best power forwards on my basketball team. I really enjoy playing sports. I ride every day to my cousins on my bike and walk to school. My bike comes in handy when I go to friends. Houses who live close to my house, my bike gets me where I have to go. I'm glad I have that bike that I have. When I grow up, I want to be a baseball player for the Boston Red Sox. I would like to follow in the footsteps of Mike Greenwell or Roger Clemens. I hope I am very successful and make it to major leagues. I hope you enjoyed reading my story all about me. I enjoyed writing it.
And as most of us know, Greg did get to live that dream, and he did get to wear that jersey. He might not have made it to Fenway Park, but I know that there's very many of us here that say if he didn't get this disease, we'd be watching on Greg TV today, playing for the Red Sox. He was that talented. I'd like to tell you, and I hope I don't bore you with this, but it's what I think is a terrific baseball story, and it involves Westborough and St. John's. I'll try to be as brief as possible I can with it. Greg had a great Westborough-St. John's connection with lots of friends and teammates at both schools. As most of you know, Greg went to St. John's High School, and I was much to my dismay because at the time I was one of the baseball coaches for Westborough High School. Well, this spring 2010, St. John's wanted to honor Greg by holding the first annual Greg Montalbano Baseball Classic. They fittingly asked Westborough High School to play against them for this first ever game. The Westborough baseball team also wanted to honor Greg, and they chose to run a fundraiser. That team raised over $1,000, a baseball team. They invited our committee to a game on May 3rd, and they presented the proceeds to us at that game. And we were thrilled by their thoughtfulness and generosity. On Saturday, May 15th, I attended the ceremony at St. John's. It was a great day and a fitting tribute to Greg. Following the ceremony, St. John's and Westborough played a baseball game. St. John's, who is still currently playing for the Division I state championship, was certainly favored in the game to win. It was a great baseball game, and in the end, Westborough came out ahead 5-4. The final score, however, is relevant only for the following reason. Westborough High School baseball team was just awarded the State Sportsmanship Award by the MIAA. It's a great honor for that team and for Westborough High School. What they learned afterwards made it even more special to them. The team that nominated them for the award was St. John's, the team they had just beat a few weeks earlier. You talk about class and true sportsmanship, that's the example. I think both of these teams truly understood what Greg is all about. Now, if I could, I'd like to introduce you to Greg's sister, Kristen, a terrific athlete herself. She'd like to say a few words, and I believe Sharon and Andy may want to assist her, but I'm going to leave that up to them. Thank you, Kristen.
It seemed that Greg was always in a good mood, but the most impressive thing about Greg was the inner peace that he radiated. Later, I understood that he had a different perspective on life. His priorities were very clear: family, friends, respect, love, and gratitude. By the way he conducted himself, it was very evident that he was seeing the world through the eyes of someone whom had been shown a glimpse of what the real purpose of life was. He would laugh often, never complain. He would be quick to encourage his friends when needed, always digging for reasons to applaud the ones that were near him. I remember one day I had a very bad game. I struck out with the bases loaded twice, and we lost the game 1-0. Greg was the first one to pat me on the back and point out that my swings looked great and to keep on swinging. The crazy thing is that Greg was the losing pitcher that day, and instead of feeling bad about the fact he had lost because of lack of run support, despite his great pitching performance, the first thing he did was think of his teammate Carlos. I told him that I had just let him down and our team down, and he answered that the only way I would let him down was if I ever stopped smiling. Guess what we did after that? We went to eat. That was Greg in a nutshell. There will never be another Greg Montalbano. No one can duplicate such a way of life, such an attitude, but we can learn from him to become better. Greg was a true expression of God on earth. He showed me that the purpose of life is to give and experience the maximum expression of love possible. Let it reflect on everything you do, on everyone you meet. We miss you, Greg, and you will always be a part of us, because you left your mark on everything you touched and on everyone you met. We shall never forget you. Thank you, Greg. Carlos Pena.
The mystery to me.